Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is OU Football Update, brought to you by Brahms.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Sooner Pod here on Oklahoma's own sports. Toby, Rowland, Chris Williams with you. Midweek of OU Texas week. We've got the Brent, Venables, and Ben Arbuckle press conference to talk about. Steve Sarkisian has had a press conference as well, as we are now getting closer to the 121st edition of the Red River Rivalry. Chris, you've been down at the press conferences all day today. Big story. What's the headline down there?
Well, I just got butterflies with you talking about Red River Rivalry. The headline, of course, who's going to play quarterback, Toby, and no set answers, but they said just enough that I think you and I can kind of dig into what they mean. Both Arbuckle and Brent Venables being asked about Mateer's status, what he's been able to do so far, or any indication if he could go on Saturday.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I think that he is throwing the ball right now because both coaches were asked, is he throwing the ball right now? And both coaches gave answers. He's going through his regular procedure. You know, it was very much a non-answer on that front. And Brent even went straight to, well, he's not doing live team reps right now. He's not doing what they call good on good. Yep, exactly. Yep. And, you know, Toby, he said, as a follow-up, he said, if you're not doing good on good, you can't play in the game, right? And I would push back on that. How often do we watch players, they're in a walking boot all week. They get off the team plane in a walking boot, and then that thing comes off 2 hours before kickoff and they play in the game. I think we see it often. At this point in the season, I'm not saying Mateer, that means you can go, but I'm saying at this point in the season, you're not doing as much physical work every day in practice. It's mostly install and getting the muscle memory ready, getting your reads right, taking what you saw on film and putting it onto the field. So he can play if he doesn't do good on good this week. I would push back on Brent on that one.
Yeah. I would also say, you know, we're recording this on Tuesday afternoon. He didn't do good on Monday. That's the only practice they'd had so far. Tuesday's practice hasn't taken place, or has Wednesday or Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even into Thursday, as you know, Chris, are kind of the big practices as you're getting set. Monday's a lot of installation as far as what the game plan is going to be and everything. So the fact that he hasn't done good on good yet is kind of irrelevant. If he hasn't done it by Saturday, maybe that would be concerning, or by Thursday even. But I'm with you. I hear you. I think listen, I've said all along, I think if he can grip the football and throw the football, he's going to play. And I agree with you. I think he's throwing the football. Now, it might hurt him, and I don't know how well he's throwing the football. But I heard nothing today that made me believe that John Mateer won't play. You know, I still think that it depends on how the rest of the week plays out. If he has a setback, if he, catches that thumb on a jersey, or, goes through a practice and wakes up the next morning and it doesn't feel right or something, then that's a different story. But assuming that everything keeps going smoothly and he can grip a football and throw a football on Saturday, I think he's going to play. And I'm going to change something I think I said on this podcast on Monday. I think we will know in pregame warmups, because if he's out there and he's throwing the football around, he's your starting quarterback. Yeah. Otherwise, he wouldn't be throwing a football, in my opinion. So I think we'll know.
Take him to South Oak Cliff. Maybe they have an indoor facility and have him go through warm-ups there. Keep him out of sight,
Yeah, that was interesting. There was a kerfuffle about the fact that you practiced indoors on Monday. And Brent was asked if they were doing that to try to just keep everybody from knowing what John Mateer was doing. And he said it was hot. And it was a hot day in Oklahoma on Monday. I would say most of the time, I know personally, they practice indoors a lot because of the air conditioning they have in there now and trying to keep the guys out of the elements and everything like that. Did they do it on Monday for that reason? I have no idea. The history of Oklahoma, Texas is littered with espionage, right? Yeah. On both sides of the Red River. So makes perfect sense that you would want as few eyes prying on you as possible. If you got an injured quarterback, makes perfect sense you would want to protect the storyline as much as possible. If that's why they moved it indoors, who would blame them? I will tell you this, today, Tuesday, is a beautiful day. It is in the 70s today in Oklahoma. So if they practice inside today, it's a little hard to use the "it's hot" excuse. So I don't know. We'll figure out later. But I still think he's playing. I've been sucked into this Dean Blevins given percentages things since I took over this job. So I'm 60%. I'm still 60% he's going to play.
You're staying at 60, Toby?
Slight lean toward play. Yeah.
I think you're right. I just at least try it. And here's the thing. If he goes out there and then comes off after one possession and says, "Guy, it's just not going to work," you've trained Hawkins as if he's the starter all week long. I mean, they say that every week, but it's easier said than done. What do you lose if you give it a try? As long as the only holdback would be if the doctor says, if it gets hit, he could miss the next 5 games. Then you go, okay, well, wait, this isn't must win to save our season time anymore, and that's when you need to step in. I don't know. Brent Arbuckle talked a lot about the gray area today as well.
Yeah. He's from Little Elm, Texas, which is a good Grayson. I just blanked on the punter's last name. Grayson. That's how much he was surprised coming into this season. The punter. What's the punter's last name? Grayson Murray? No, it's not Murray.
I want to say
Miller. Grayson Miller.
It is okay, because we have Grayson that works in editing. Then I was like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong Grayson.
Grayson Miller. It's a good Grayson Miller punt from the State Fair of Texas. Like, he's from the heart of this game. This is probably his one and only chance to play. It's just hard for me to imagine that he's not going to be. Okay, what else? What were the other big storylines from the presser today?
I think we should tell them after the break, Toby.
Let's take a break. Here's Brahms.
Brahms Banana Fudge Sundae gives a whole new meaning to decadent taste. 2 creamy scoops of premium vanilla ice cream overflowing with delicious hot fudge and fresh slices of banana to create the perfect balance between the fruity banana flavor and rich hot fudge. Treat yourself to a banana fudge sundae at Brahms, where every spoonful is pure bliss.
By the way, I haven't told you yet, please like and subscribe, okay? Like, subscribe, hit the little alarm. You see that little alarm on there as well? That'll give you updates, or it'll let you notifications whenever we post a new one. This is, I think, probably regarded, it makes sense to me, as the fastest growing podcast in America today. Nobody can disprove that. All right, Chris, other headlines from press conference today.
What are some other big ones? Well, okay, so this is from the Sarkisian podcast. From the Sarkisian press conference. He was talking about it, and he said that they're preparing as if it's Mateer, but that they're ready and Hawkins is improved. But he also said, and this really stuck out to me, he goes, but Ben Arbuckle is an excellent offensive coordinator. And he went through all the things he does with his sequencing and play calling and working in trick plays. And, I mean, Sarkisian is a great offensive mind. I mean, national championship level offensive coordinator. And he's impressed by young 30-year-old Ben Arbuckle. And he even said at the end of it, so, you prepare for Mateer, we know what Hawkins can do, but in the end, we're preparing for because that offense that Arbuckle has is a great offense.
It's very high praise. Yeah, it is ironic that you have Steve Sarkisian, who is regarded as one of the brightest offensive minds in all of college football. And on the other side, Ben Arbuckle, who is considered one of the brightest young offensive minds in college football. And yet, this might be like a 9-6 football game, right? I mean, it looks to me like both offenses are going to have a hard time moving the football in this game, Chris.
Yeah, but it's also the Red River Rivalry, so we could say that.
Who knows?
54-48. You never know. You got to take care of the football. Toby, another thing both teams have in common is just not being able to find a run game right now. And that's the same questions in both. Arbuckle did talk about, he said he's been very happy with what he's seen from the running backs and the way they've practiced. Again, talking about Ott's improvement. I thought it was fun. Every time Ott touched the ball, the stadium reacting on Saturday, because everyone has just been so anxious to see what he can do. But both sides, I mean, it might come down to who can run the football even just a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I agree with them too. I mean, it's been a struggle, and both of the defensive front sevens are very good, which, it's kind of hard to see Oklahoma having a big day on the ground because of the way they've had a hard time running, because of how good Texas is. And same thing on the other side. Texas hasn't ran it very well, and Oklahoma's front seven's been magnificent. So that's what I'm saying. Like, ultimately, if this comes down to having to throw the football to win, all right, what are your options there? Well, you got Arch Manning, who is struggling, has struggled all year. Or you've got Michael Hawkins, who was not very impressive last week, and throwing the football's not his forte. Or you've got John Mateer with a surgically repaired thumb. So those are,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you're right, because logically, take the under in this game. I don't even know what the over-under is, but take the under. This feels like a field position, low-scoring game that is decided by a kicker. That's what it feels like, which means it's probably going to be a shootout. That's the way this game works. We did learn from Brent Venables today that they are going to put some more padding up in Owen Field, where Keontae Lewis ran into that wall, which is a smart idea. Amazing that we haven't seen someone injured before, even if it wasn't that scary, that we haven't seen someone, chasing a ball out of the back of the end zone, just crash into the brick wall and hurt themselves. I've been going to games there for, 25, 30 years. I've never seen what happened on Saturday, but the fact that there isn't a pad there, I'm going to be honest with you, the pads that are there now, and you're down there, Chris, you see them, the pads that are there now, I wouldn't have helped out Keontae Lewis much if he had hit it. Maybe a little bit, but it'll psychologically maybe help things out a little bit. All right, anything else grab your ear?
Yeah, Arch Manning. It's been so easy to look at his struggles and all the things on tape that he's done wrong all along. I kind of feel like still both camps, both Texas and Oklahoma, feel like there's something in there where Arch can put it together. And I'm not saying it's going to come together against the number one overall defense on a week's notice, but I mean, Venables talked about how much he loved the toughness that Arch showed on tape at the end of that Florida game, and some of those intangible things. We know he has the tools. It's this middle ground. There's something going on in there that he hasn't figured out. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like Arch has given up on himself, and he's not, a guy who's going to end up transferring down to Chapman to go play for my alma mater next year. I mean, this guy is still, he has the talent. It's not going to be a walk in the park on him. Hopefully, the Oklahoma defense strategy, of course, is to get after him early, get into his head early, and try to confuse him, and they do that well. But he's not what everyone thought he would be, but I don't think the overcorrection, I think he falls in this middle ground somewhere, and I think with an offense coordinator like Sarkisian, they can find a way to salvage Arch Manning this season.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Arch Manning is going to be a good quarterback. Like, he might be a great quarterback. If you remember back to the early days of Eli at Ole Miss, he wasn't great out of the gates either. It's a lot, man. That kid has heard from the moment he could walk that he's a Manning. And the pressure that comes with that, and he was the Heisman favorite before he was ever a starter. I mean, the pressure on him has to be beyond what we can comprehend. And at some point, he's going to settle in, and he has all of the physical attributes and DNA to be very, very good. You just hope if you're a Sooner fan, it's not Saturday. So, I mean, if you were asking me to pick a side, I would pick the side that Arch is going to be really good and be an NFL quarterback someday, despite what he's done the first 5 weeks of the season. But so far, it has been a test. You can tell, though, from his teammates that they respect him a lot, and he's won them over with his toughness, which is saying a lot. So
I have one more question for you for this weekend, Toby. You've called this game on radio for many years and covered it when you were at News 9 for your first stint. Do you go corn dog on game day? On like a hot game day?
For sure. The only thing I ever eat there is the corny dog. The Fletcher's corny dog is proper pronouncing, the way you pronounce it. Here's my rule of thumb. If OU loses, I have 1. If OU wins, I have 3 or more.
Wow.
So that's, yeah, I celebrate with gorging myself with corny dogs. Here's a funny story for you. Back when I called the games with the great Merv Johnson, after the game ended, Merv would disappear. Like, we'd do a segment and then Merv would be gone. He wouldn't even tell anybody where he'd been. And we would do like another 4 or 5 segments of the postgame show with no Merv. And then the first year, I was a little worried because that was very odd. And then about a half hour, 45 minutes later, he came back in the booth with a whole silver tray of corn dogs for the entire crew. Probably 20, 25 corn dogs that he had gone and purchased down in the state fair for everyone. So then the next year, he did it again for the next, 3, 4, 5 years we called games together. But I always have a corn dog what about you?
I don't, I had a corn dog Friday of last year. I didn't have it on game day. I'm wondering if pre-game doesn't seem like a great idea if it's going to be a hot day. Post-game corn dog, of course. Probably shying away from the big turkey legs because, as evidence on some of our past podcasts, it will end up just all over whatever I'm wearing that day. So,
yeah, well, I will have a corny dog either way for sure. All right, folks, coming up on Friday, I'm going to be joined by the play-by-play voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way. He'll take us on a deep dive into the Longhorn roster as we get set for the game, 2:30 kickoff on Saturday. Chris and I are headed down to Dallas. We will have reports for you on Friday and, of course, all day Saturday as well. It's going to be a fun one. Chris, way to go.
Can't believe it's already here, Toby. OU Texas week.
Almost here. Folks out there, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on Friday next time here on Oklahoma's Own Sports.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's Own digital studio stream. Stay with News 9, online and on television, anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.